Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, welcome back to the Baseball Hut. Hope you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So here we are at the other part of the Baseball Hut. This is really the studio, the Baseball Hut. You know, the lighting needs to change a little bit, and hopefully I'll get that light that I had in the other Baseball Hut in this room very soon. But talking about lights not working and lights turned off, let's talk about the New York Mets. The Mets had been playing very poorly. They went 9-19 in the month of May. That was one of the worst records in baseball for the month. And even though they won 2 in a row to get to 9 wins, it's still a terrible record. Terrible record. On Daryl Strawberry Day, when the Mets retired the great player in '86 Met and Daryl Strawberry, the Mets did not show up. That's obvious that they didn't show up in this game on Saturday. I mean, you could not have found a better day. It was a beautiful day here in New York. Beautiful day at the ballpark. Beautiful day, beautiful ceremony of a player and really a man who has had a lot of troubles in his life. And he's been able to turn it around. He's been able to help others. He found Jesus, and his family is very much into their faith. And to see him turn his life around is very inspirational. But this New York Met team stood there in the dugout and watched this speech, which was, I could not believe the ovation that he got when he walked out on that field, and the love that people have for him. And to see this group of players watch this and then basically have a dud of a game. Now, obviously, you take your first cue from your starting pitching. Shohei Knight, who has pitched really well, he might be the Mets' only All-Star this year. He's the closest thing to an All-Star the Mets have. Didn't pitch well. Even though he struck out 10 batters, he gave up 6 runs, 5 earned, and gave up the grand slam to Christian Walker in the 31. Daryl's in the booth talking to Gary Keith and Ron. This was about... talk about embarrassing in front of those great champion Met teams of the 80s and some of the other guys. Johnny Franco was there. Now, Johnny saw a lot of losing here, but he saw a lot of winning here too. And to see him have to endure that and have to see this 86 Met team all out there ready to celebrate a great player, and to see them and see us sort of having to deal with this nonsense, and very disheartening. I was coming home from work today, driving and listening to the ceremony, and getting a little choked up because, listening to this stuff, and then you think about where this team is at now, and remembering how great it was to be a Met fan, how great it was to watch that team, and then to see it struggle so poorly this year and last year. This is an embarrassment to watch this team. And I've been trying to sort of put it into words, and try to be humorous and entertaining. Last year it was very entertaining, making fun of this group, because nobody was really doing that other than myself. And it took a while. It took about another month for everybody else to catch up with me. I said in the live stream on Saturday, looking at this group, Pete Alonso's called the Polar Bear. It's his nickname, Polar Bear. The polar bear is considered one of the most vicious animals on the face of the earth. When you see Pete Alonso, does he look like a vicious animal at the plate? He looks more like a teddy bear. He acts more like a teddy bear. The mentality, especially late in the game, mentality when the game is getting tight, mentality when the team needs a big hit. He's more like a teddy bear than a polar bear, or even a grizzly bear. Francisco Lindor, again, probably one of the most overrated players in the game. They've been sort of talking about how, and I'll mention, I probably shouldn't bring this up, but I saw a tweet by Francisco's wife. That's not a good sign that the wife is so involved with this situation. The fact that she's tweeting about when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Hey, Mrs. Lindor, your husband's team is 10 games under 500. We're way past when the going gets tough. We're past that point. We were at that point in September of 2022. We were at that point in October 22 in Atlanta. We were at that point in the 3-game series against the Padres in the wild card series. That's tough. Not showing up and not doing your job and putting up the numbers when your team needs you, that is not tough. And piling on numbers in the second half of last season isn't tough. Being 10 games under 500, then starting to hit, and your team's still not winning, that's not tough. I hate to be like that, but I saw this tweet. I have to respond to it. It's out there. And I'm going to talk about it. Again, spouses should not get involved with men's business and women's business. Okay, it doesn't look good. It's like really the equivalent of if his mom tweeted out something. Because that means the booing and the criticism really bothers Lindor deep down, and it bothers his family. Too bad. That's how it is. And I'm going to continue to criticize him. Jeff McNeil. Doesn't he look like a rat? They made this big deal about the possum. They made this big deal about raccoon. But quite frankly, Jeff McNeil looks like a complete total rat. And the fact that he has disappeared since he signed that contract with the Mets, he stole that money from the Mets. It's done absolutely nothing since he signed that contract with the Mets after the 2022 season. He got his car this past offseason from Lindor. Even though it took Lindor to sort of take forever to do it. It takes a week to buy a car. I've done that myself. It takes a week to buy a car. And but it took Lindor over a year to do it. Well, McNeil finally got the car, and he's still not back to being a batting champion. Someone should offer McNeil a second car, a third car, to get him back to be a batting champion again. I don't know. I mean, really, the Mets stars have failed this team in a major way. Edwin Diaz is back to 2019 Edwin Diaz. Now, I know he's injured. I think a lot of the problems that has stemmed from him has been his arm. I think the arm not performing the way he wants is due to the fact that he's been nursing this sort of situation with his arm, and he sort of kept it quiet, and they got to a point where he just couldn't handle it anymore. I mean, players always had to deal with some kind of aches and pains, and I think this pain wasn't really going away. And I think that's kind of what happened with him, to be honest with you. But again, you got all these guys that have big contracts, and they're not performing. And even Brandon Nimmo, who's been batting third, striking out like crazy because he's trying to change his approach to the plate. Brandon, just do your thing, you're fine. You could be another table setter. That's fine. But you have all these guys that are stars on this team. These 5 guys that completely failed them this year. And they've been failing them for all these years. They got off to a horrible start in 2019. They had a good second half of 2019. They made a big deal about how hard they were playing in the second half in August and September. And basically didn't make it. In 2020, in the condensed season, they basically weren't there. Pete wasn't there for the first row of 6 weeks of that season. Started hitting the last 2 weeks when the Mets were way out of it. Then they bring in Lindor. Lindor was a disaster the first season. Jeff McNeil was a disaster in 2021. Then they played 2022, and they had a terrible September. Really a collapse in October and against the Braves and the Padres. And obviously with the injuries to Scherzer and DeGrom, everything sort of fell apart. But the point being is that this group has been a disappointment, and I've been very fair with this team and very fair with the Mets organization. I think they're in good hands with Stearns. I think they're on the right track with him running this team. He's very proactive. If he feels the need to get rid of somebody, he gets rid of them. I mean, he didn't wait long to get rid of Lopez. Basically, as soon as he threw that glove into the stands, he was gone. Obviously, they couldn't wait to get rid of Tonkin. They brought him back. They got rid of him. They finally got rid of Narvaez. I would expect them to do more work in terms of getting rid of some of these people out of here. Like like I've been saying for the last month or so, I think half of this core will be gone when we get back to this thing next year. Obviously, we got quite a few months to go through. We don't know what's going to happen here. By the time we get to the trade deadline next month, it is July 30th this year on a Tuesday. I hope to be on a live stream talking about this stuff. I think that week before is going to be extremely busy. I think the month of July is going to be busy for this team. There's so many contracts that are going to be coming off the books after this season. Probably Pete Alonso is going to be gone. I would expect Jeff McNeil's probably going to get traded. Ottavino's going to be gone. Bader, Hauser, JD Martinez, Quintana, Severino, Manaya. Did I forget anybody else? But those are the main guys. I mean, it's just 20 guys off the 26-man roster. As you can tell, the Birds are back, getting their 2 cents in. I don't know why they're chirping. It's dark in that room. Just they see me and hear me talking and bullshitting about the New York Mets for the millionth time. But I will be back in a future video complaining. I mean, talking about our New York Mets. I mean, I want to see the Mets win. That's all I want. It's all I care about. I don't care who the player is. If you don't want to be here, get the hell out of here. If you're not performing, get out of here. If you're a jerk off, get out of here. Especially if you don't perform. If you're a jerk off and you play great, I love you. You know. But if you're going to be a problem and you're not going to play well, I don't want you here. If you don't want to play here, goodbye. If you don't like the fans, if you don't like me, goodbye. I really don't care at this point. All I care is that W at the end of the game. Okay, I don't want excuses. I don't want complaining. I don't want any kind of thumbs down, middle finger. I don't want any of that. If you do that, you'll lose me. And I think most people feel the same way. Now, if you like that stuff, hit the subscribe button and like this video, and we'll continue to talk about the disappointment of the 2024 Mets. Now, we know we didn't have high expectations this year, but we didn't think it would be this bad. But thank you for watching this video. Have a good day. God, please have a good day. And I'll see you later.